Hey everybody, Steven here. Today's video going to be looking at a couple different things that I do for cardio now versus hopping on a piece of equipment. For me, you're really designed to walk, so I always tell clients really you need to be walking, preferably outside. I'm not going to knock them if they have to go inside. For some people, obviously weather can be an issue. They don't want to go outside, it's too hot, it's too cold, whatever it may be. I do understand that you could use a cardio piece of equipment, or using a rower or an Airdyne or a Stairmaster or something like that's going to be a little bit different. Ideally though, you don't need equipment. You can easily, everybody for the most part can walk in some capacity outside. And if you're not in a position to do that, this video is not going to help you anyways. You're going to need something else besides this, because this is going to require a little bit more movement than that. And usually you have somebody that you've seen that's helped you with that anyways. Now with this, all you need is a hacky sack and a tennis ball. These are very, very cheap. I mean, you can get a thing of 3 tennis balls from Walmart for like $1.50. A hacky sack typically off Amazon, and I'll put a link for one of these. I like this quality versus, like, they have a 3-pack for $9, or you get this one. But the stitching on this is much better. It's just a better quality hacky sack. But with this, we'll actually start with the hacky sack first. Talking about the walking and all of that, maybe you want to go hiking. I would say, like, get outside. If you can get on an articulating surface, it's better versus like gravel. Something is always better than nothing. That's what it's really going to boil down to. And with this, instead of doing some of those things, go play basketball, toss a football. Like this is something that is very much in that same vein. So hacky sack here, the reason I like this is because it's going to require, obviously, foot-eye instead of hand-eye, right? It's going to require coordination, but I'm not so much worried about that. If you are like, man, I can't even do that, I'm going to suck really, really bad, even better. Because what's going to happen is that every time, it's going to let it go, it falls, I'm going to be required to pick that up, right? And I always tell my clients, we have to do this with structure. So we're squatting down, we're reaching, I could squat and pick it up at an angle. I've done this with the tennis ball where I do a placement drill. It's the same thing. With this though, I wouldn't do exactly what I did with that drill over there, which was staying in a squat. I'm gonna stand back up because I'm gonna use this again. I can hinge deadlift style versus squat where I'm more upright. Split stance, lunge, split stance, squat, whatever you want to call it. I can get into this position. I could be higher in this position. One leg Romanian deadlift. You have variety there, and you really want to push that. The big thing here is that we're thinking about that structure versus just passively picking this up, which is what I usually see. Right? They're just like, and it's not that you need structure all the time, but we're not under load, so you should have that ability to do that. I just want you to think about that a little bit, because we'll work and fine tune the motor control patterns with picking this up. Now, even if I want it to be here, maybe I'm doing it in such a manner that I'm pushing my body a little bit further than what it's used to. Twisting more, bending. I could go into a rounded back kyphosis, right? I could go here, but I'm going to explore that movement a little bit. Versus, I'm not thinking about what I'm doing at all, I'm just picking it up. Now with this hacky sack, the thing, like I said, that I like with this is all the movement that I'm gonna get out of my hip, active movement also, versus not passive. We're not stretching, right? I'm actively trying to kick this and work on my hip. In that, and I'm obviously going to try and push for more legs, and right now you might just be dominant to whatever your dominant foot is, that's fine, but eventually I want to try and build with that as well. Pushing and showcasing to the body, hey, this is what that joint can do actively, is super important, because neurologically it's reinforcing that your body has that ability. I always tell people it's a use it or lose it type of situation a lot of times with the joints. So if I'm constantly sitting in a chair and I'm never doing these movements, my body's not really going to invest a lot of energy and time into keeping those movements. This is why I think it's important to do mobility and strengthen mobility, but in a smart way, versus like I'm just passively stretching all the time and I'm passively foam rolling all the time. You have to activate that range of motion also. You can't just passively do everything, which is this, right? So hacky sack is the first one. I usually go 5 to 10 minutes. I played 20 minutes one time and I had actually walked a mile. I checked my steps. It was crazy. Just from this, and then I'm gonna move. I'm gonna pick it up, and I'll come back. I'm gonna move. Just that. And if you look at just that small amount, the amount of movement variability that I have in that versus me just sitting on a treadmill doing this, right, is much greater. So hacky sack is first. Tennis ball. Easiest thing to start is just to dribble. Same thing, it's hand-eye coordination. You could put limitations on this. You could say, all right, I can just do it with my right hand. Cool, right? I can say, well, I'm just gonna do it with my left hand. Or I'm doing 2 on the left and then 2 on the right. Or 3 on the left, 1 on the right. I have to move in a circle, or I have to hit these particular marks, or I can just, for this instance, I would actually just walk up and down. One of the big things with this that I tell clients I want them to work on is, initially, yes, I'm hyper-focused on the ball. It's a new skill. This is smaller than a basketball, so I do have to focus in on it more, where a basketball I probably wouldn't have to as much. It's a bigger object. Slowly, I want you to take your focus off the ball to now I can manage without that, right? I can look up, I can look around, I could look at something else, and I'm using my peripheral vision. I can still check in on that, but I'm using other things, and you'll miss it. That's fine. But I'm now trying to navigate the space. If I know what it feels like, I hit it this particular way, I know it's probably gonna most likely be here, right? Using peripheral vision and then using neurological cues, right? Motor control cues. If I slap it at an angle, I know what's going off at an angle, right? You're just trying to tune into that. That would be the next one. If it falls, I pick it up with proper or some type of structured form, unless I want to be exploratory with that. I'm going to then twist and reach. That would be the second one. I can then throw this off of an object, right? Throwing super important in my opinion. That's really what the shoulder is designed to do. It's designed to brachiate and it's designed to throw. We don't really do those two things anymore. I think it's important that we do, but climbing trees, brachiation is swinging from limb to limb, right? Boom, boom, throwing, right? Because now I'm showing that shoulder its full range of motion, right? I could do that towards the wall though. Catch. Nothing fancy, right? Wall ball, right? Both hands too. Back and forth. Whether I want it to bounce it or not, or here, right? Or some of the other videos that I've done, I can punch. Which this is a little bit harder to do. It took me over a year to get 100, over 100. That's harder to do, but even that is the gaining of the skill, but I'm learning a lot with that. The movement variability, you're gonna see me moving around a bunch, right? When I initially started, obviously I was way worse. I was picking this ball up off the ground a lot. Same thing, I'm thinking about that structure. So hopefully that at least gets your brain thinking a little bit about the stuff that you could be doing instead of the cardio. If you're a bodybuilder getting ready for a show or something like that, this obviously isn't gonna be something that you're probably gonna spend a ton of time on. Yours is, I gotta burn all these calories because I need to drop body fat, right? Looking at that. If you're somebody that's sick of doing cardio at the gym and maybe it's, what do I do if I can't get there? What are some things that I could do? This would be something that you could do. A little bit harder if you're living in an apartment and you're in a tighter space or something like that. You're like, I can't do it in the house. Yeah, you're gonna have to go find a wall. But even if it was a smaller wall like this, obviously drop down ceiling, I could still, as long as there's not somebody on the other side of that wall that's gonna get irritated, I could still toss it against this. Right? I could still do my placement drills that you've seen me do in other videos, right? And move around like that. Just exploring that movement. And like I said at the beginning of the video, doing some type of movement is always going to be better than not. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you like it, hit the like button for me. If there was something that was confusing, or maybe I need to explain it a little bit better, or maybe you're just like, could you do a couple other different things? Just let me know in the comment section. I would be happy to do that for you as well. So thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button for me too. If this brought you any value, if you want to continue to follow my content, I'd really, really appreciate it. Pumping out more videos here pretty soon. I'm going to the FRC, Functional Range Conditioning certification in 2 weeks. Should have more videos showcasing some of that stuff too, which is that activating that range of motion to gain mobility stuff. And I'm super excited about that. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Check back soon for more videos.